Farmworker, student, labor, and civil society groups symbolically occupied Mexico City in commemoration of 100 years since revolutionary heroes Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa took the capital. Many say the struggles of the past echo the struggles of today.
Those neoliberal policies that have been implemented have led to impoverishment, discrimination, exclusion, and insecurity that thousands of families suffer from, and our youth that have the fewest alternatives.
Demonstrators also expressed their solidarity with the families of the disappeared Ayotzinapa students.
We love life. We also love our brothers, and thus they are very present with us. And that is why we struggle, and why we will until the end.
Since the forced disappearance of the students in September, the demand for their return alive has increasingly been accompanied by the demand for the ouster of Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto.
We can't take it anymore, and we want him to go. He needs to go because something is going to happen. When they find out what happened to those youth, there will be a revolution.
However, confirmation was made by the independent Argentine forensics team that the remains of one of the disappeared students, Alexander Mora, has now been identified.
This fact, this state crime, will not be left in impunity. And we want to say to the people of Mexico and to the world that from this day forward, we don't recognize the government of Peña Nieto.
Parents and classmates of the disappeared students affirm that the most recent news will only harden their resolve for justice. Clayton Khan, Telesur, Mexico City.
While protests against disappearances continue in Mexico, Spanish King Felipe VI arrived in the country to participate in the Ibero-American Summit on Monday. Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto will try to use the summit to shore up his legitimacy in the face of the largest crisis to rock his administration since he took power 2 years ago. While the forum may give Peña Nieto some respite, it is to shift the conversation away from violence and corruption associated with his government. The summit is a gathering between Spain, Portugal, and their former colonies in the Americas. The Ibero-American has lost the prestige it once had, with other regional bodies such as CELAC and UNASUR seen as more important by the region's leaders. French President François Hollande met with Vladimir Putin on Saturday in Russia to discuss the armed conflict in Ukraine. Hollande said that he hoped to stop a new East-West division from arising in Europe. Putin spoke about his hope for an end to the violence and called on Ukraine to withdraw its artillery from the Donbas region and to cease shelling. Putin also admitted that both sides have violated the ceasefire. Hollande's last-minute unscheduled visit comes as Kiev announced a fresh round of talks with the rebels next week to try and rescue the September ceasefire.
Well, the Israeli violations here in the Gaza Strip are continuous. Back in 26th of August, after Operation Protective Edge, Israel and the Palestinian militants signed a truce agreement that is offering Gaza lifting the siege and also easing the restrictions over the fishermen. However, day after day, we hear new violations committed by the Israeli Navy and the Israeli boats when they are attacking the Palestinian fishermen, just like what happened early this morning, early Sunday. The Israeli gunboats fired at Palestinian fishermen off the coast of the Gaza Strip, and what is making the matter worse is that the Israeli Navy detained 12 Palestinian fishermen, and this is the biggest number of Palestinian fishermen that were ever arrested since the ending of the latest summer war on the Gaza Strip. Israeli spokespersons and media persons said that these fishermen crossed the 6 miles limit. However, eyewitnesses and fellow fishermen are stating that the arrested fishermen were fishing inside the 5th mile limit zone.
Afghan President Ghani and Pakistani Prime Minister Sharif met with British Prime Minister David Cameron in London on Friday. Cameron stressed the importance of tackling corruption in Afghanistan, while U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said Ghani's new government had already made moves to combat money laundering and corruption since taking office in September. President Ghani heads a weak administration alongside former presidential rival Abdullah Abdullah after the two agreed to a power-sharing government. Days after becoming president, Ghani signed a new security agreement with the United States, a move his predecessor Hamid Karzai refused to do. The agreement will see U.S. troops remain in the country until 2024.
The city of La Paz has been engaged in a campaign to secure enough votes to have the city classified as one of the new 7 wonder cities of the world. The city has already been voted to the top 14, and the mayor of La Paz, Luis Revilla, says La Paz and the country as a whole stand a lot to gain if they make it to the final 7.
It has been calculated that the amount of tourists can be tripled over 1 or 2 years. This is what has happened in other places that have been nominated as wonders of the world. And this brings enormous benefits, income, and improvements in the hotel, tourism, and gastronomic infrastructure of the city. This is not only about a benefit for La Paz, but rather for the whole country, because many tourists enter Bolivia through La Paz.
On one of the final days of voting, which is taking place around the world through the 7 Wonders website, La Paz residents flocked to voting centers around the city in hopes that their city would make it to the final 7.
We have such an interesting topography. So many neighborhoods are literally built on mountains. We also have the new Teleférico cable car system, which is adorning our city, the beautiful gardens of La Paz, the people, and all of the recent movement we are experiencing, both economically and socially. La Paz truly is a wonder.
The final day of international voting is Saturday, December 6th, and the residents of La Paz will be awaiting the results on Sunday, December 7th. Reporting from La Paz, David Doherty, Telesur.
Facts that have marked the course of history. Productions designed in the English language and made for the English-speaking world. This is Documentary. Watch it on telesur.net/English. Telesur, wherever the news, you'll be there.